governance in our country. A lot of people had great expectations in terms of governance and are apparently sorely disappointed. I say so because judging from the number of messages we get on those lines here on Newsline Live. Now then, some say that the opposition in Sri Lanka are largely ineffective, acting partisan and or in their personal interest, and certainly not in the interest of the wider public. To find out if this is a fair, accurate assessment, I've got here with me Dr. Kavinda Jayawardena, who is of course a Member of Parliament from the SJB. Very good evening to you, Dr. Kavinda.
Good evening, Faraz.
Is that a fairly accurate description of the opposition? Divided, partisan acting, and not doing enough for the people.
Faraz, first and foremost, thank you very much for having me tonight. And you know that Honorable Sajid Premadasa, my leader, we started a new party, a new political alliance, where we had to face a general election, where we managed to get 54 parliamentary seats, and our leader became the opposition leader of the
Welsh would say, they have a lovely word for that, they'd say that all your efforts is champion, which is very good. I agree. It's a very good start and you know, not to be sniffed at, 54. But my question really isn't that. My question is, you've got 54 members there. In the face of a sort of a growing and a creeping authoritarianism, or apparently so, then surely you ought to have, like you all had during the October, remember that time? You know, the opposition was united. But now, in the face of all this, we have a bunch of Muslim MPs who, I don't know, they took leave of their senses and left everything, and God knows what was promised to them. They went and supported the 20th Amendment, right? And it was a bit like, oh, you know, the chiefs will stay here and the Indians will do something else. And that's what they did. That's then. Now, they're all sort of marching from one side to the other side of the country. But honestly, don't you think that the opposition parties, all of them, forget the ideology, should be together to fight this very important thing that is being played out now, a growing authoritarianism?
Faraz, as opposition, that there are reasons why some of the parties are not with us. And as you very clearly mentioned, that some of the Muslim parliamentarians have left the opposition and joined with the government. They voted in favor of 20th Amendment. And as you said, that probably they were promised so many other things, probably they were given favors.
You see, partisan, yes, and with a collateral purpose.
Yeah, it's a shame that some of the parliamentarians made that decision.
Without integrity, I might add.
Absolutely right. And now they say that they did that for the sake of the Muslim community, for burial rights.
What complete, absolute tosh.
For burial rights.
Really?
But the
they
government
predicted all that time back?
But the government denies such promise to those parliamentarians. But either way, that as an opposition, Honorable Sajid Premadasa and Samagi Jana Balawegya, we have been going to villages after villages, representing our people, solving issues the way we can, and we have been a voice to the entire country, regardless whether they have voted for us or whether they haven't voted for us. But right now, there are serious concerns for us. Number one, this government came into power saying that they will give justice for those who died in vain at the Easter bomb attack.
Yes, but now there are other parties who are saying that this report has been fixed. We have a monk who's saying that. We have the SLFB almost predictably saying that they've dismissed this report. You know, their leader is being named there and recommended for prosecution. and the list goes on. Mr. Wickramasinghe, your erstwhile leader, answered a question with a question, which is only Mr. Wickramasinghe can do that. But he also has a point. The point is that there is grave doubt and suspicion about the report.
For us, it's very sad that current government is trying to drag these investigations, and even after the report, appointing a cabinet subcommittee to study this report is absurd, right? Especially after the Katuapitiya parish got to the street, and His Eminence made a lot of statements and put pressure on the government to release this report.
Almost every house around the Katuapitiya church
got to the street.
Had were affected. Somebody died.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Faraz. I know for a fact that you visited almost all those houses.
Yes.
And I'm a person who went to Katuapitiya at that moment, right after the bomb happened, and even to Kochikade church. And I saw, it was devastating to see that, the blood and those people crying, and some of them have left their life.
Are you with Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit when he says, look, if you don't sort this out, I'm going to go international?
Most certainly as the head of human rights for SJB, I am planning, if in Sri Lanka, that the Sri Lankan government is not going to support our people and brought justice for our people, we are definitely considering going to Human Rights Commission.
Yeah.
And we are definitely going to get to the streets, because we want to get to the bottom of this.
Right.
And this government, one of the main promises was that they will investigate on this issue, but clearly they are not doing it. They have been dragging it for us.
But why? What is the collateral purpose?
So what
Can you hazard a guess?
What we can think of is, right now, this incident, you can divide this incident into two.
Right.
Number one, the negligence of the former government and the officers, that we understand. Maithripala Sirisena plus the forces, police, the intelligence.
Don't leave Mr. Wickramasinghe out. He's the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Either way, whoever is responsible, whoever has neglected their duties, and whoever have been informed about this, prior information has been given, and who did not act, definitely you have to prosecute them. There's no doubt, right? That's number one. Number two, the people who were behind it, who funded Saran, who gave them explosives, who gave them all the other facilities,
the facilitators,
right? Yeah, everyone has been brought to justice, right? So that is under the carpet.
But
in
why?
This report,
but
it's
why?
not there. So that's what is a speculation that it could be probably purposefully the government is trying to hide these people. Or they know that who did it, right?
So why not hang them?
Now.
Why not hang them? Find them and hang them.
Exactly. That's our concern. Why this government is not investigating? Why are they not putting them behind bars? Right? Why can't they? Now the Attorney General send all the investigated files back to the police department because those files were incomplete.
Right.
He couldn't prosecute. He couldn't charge them.
So this all seems to be, even there, they're working on a collateral purpose.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But
well, I as a member of public, I feel that is the feeling I get.
Yeah. Either way,
but
it's clearly
surely our police are not that incompetent.
It's clearly the government is not acting on their promise. For us, don't forget, the former government was incompetent and it was incapable of stopping Zaran doing what he did, right? And current government is failing to put people who were behind Zaran in behind bars. Current government is failing to prosecute people who were behind Zara, who supported him, the masterminders of this attack. So there is no difference. Probably current government is worse than the former government. For Zara. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think this government, how much ever, if they think that they could fool the people, that they can get away with it,
Yeah.
I don't think that they can get away with it. Remember, they came into power by using this incident. Likewise, they will lose power for us because of this incident, by trying to covering up. It's a shame. It's a shame. This report hasn't been still submitted to His Eminent Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, who have been requesting this.
In the Buddhist tradition, the righteous ruler must govern with both impartiality and fair play, in addition to acting justly. Since you are a national leader who intends to build a righteous society based on Buddhist principles, the confidence many people have placed in you is at stake on this occasion. This was written by the late Bishop Wickramasinghe, Dr. Wickramasinghe. But do you see similarities now? We see our president saying that I am a Buddhist, I make no bones about that, and I intend to rule this country guided by those principles. But then there's a lot of people who are very, very unhappy and they feel let down.
Most certainly for
and
us.
The public have a right to know the truth behind the Easter bombings.
Yeah, not only that for us. Remember, since they wanted to get into power, right, what they did within our country, they created so much racial distress, right? They said so many things about Muslim community. They created a fear factor among the Muslim community and the rest of the other communities, right? So now this has been growing. Now this government in power, they are still not doing anything for reconciliation for us.
I'm going to read you out, Dr. Kavinda Jayawardena, a extract from something that was written by twice President and several times Prime Minister and current Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Some say he's referring to back to 1956 and SWRD. Some say that it was merely a dog and pony show to attract the masses. But here's the key point. After all, arousing religious and racial sentiments remain to this day sure vote-catching tactics. Really? Is that what politics has been brought down to in this country? By arousing sentiment? Have a little fun at the expense of some minority? I think that's sad. What do you think?
This is the issue for us. They have been governing, they have been coming into power by same statements that they have been making for us. So, you know, it's sad, as you said, for us to be a part of this, right? And as the general public, we should be aware what this government has been doing in past and what this government is doing currently. They can't even make a decision based on scientific facts, right? Whether to give the barrier rights or cremation, right? They are still using this as a weapon for their political gain.
Just ahead of the break, I just want to ask you a question. This was a government, a joint government. They called it sort of a national government, right? So we had President Sirisena and Prime Minister Wickramasinghe. How come only President Sirisena is recommended for prosecution? We'll get your answer after the break, shall we? Here you go, break time. Let's look at the headlines and a breaking story too. We'll join you after the news.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
Welcome back to Newsline Live. I'm in conversation with Dr. Kavinda Jayawardena, the Member of Parliament from the SJB. I asked him before, why a recommendation to prosecute only President Maithripala Sirisena, and why not President Sirisena's Prime Minister, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe? Why is that?
Faraz, at that time, who was the Defence Minister?
Oh, come on. He just, that's
Who was the Defence Minister?
That is a very, very weak string to hang on. Because
okay. All right.
he'd only taken over that ministry a few weeks before.
Defence Ministry, His Excellency the former
yes,
President have had the ministry throughout.
Yes, but why did the Prime Minister, when he was told not to turn up?
Did Honourable Ranil Wickremesinghe was summoned to the any of the defence meetings?
The
National Security
Council? When he didn't do it, he should have told the President
where
to get off. He should have told the President where to get off, and he should have said, I'm the Prime Minister, whether you like it or not, matey, I am coming in there and going in there.
Yeah, Faraz, you remember what happened during the 58 days.
And right. After all,
right.
This is
it was unconstitutional.
Yes.
It was unconstitutional.
Yes.
Right? And now Maithripala Sirisena is rejecting this report. How can you reject a report? Right? I have gone through this report, and I have certain clarifications, I have issues on this same report, yes. But I can't reject. Right? This report was made by the same people that he named off. Maithripala Sirisena, former president, is the one who formed this committee.
The way your responses are coming out, it appears that you have got a association with RW still, although you are on the other side.
See, I represented UMP, yes. And I was in that government, Faraz, yes. And I know exactly what happened within that government, where
Mr. Wickremesinghe downplayed Mr. Wickremesinghe downplayed, according to the report, he downplayed the rising Muslim extremism. He just downplayed it. He sidelined it. He said, I'll sort it out later.
So the current government can investigate on it. They can question him.
But with all these, and including like the bond and everything, have to mention the bond, you know, but still, with all these investigations, it's all talk. There's no action.
So the current government came into power.
No different than from the Apalinistas. Because they said they'd do something, they came in, they didn't do anything. Long-suffering people of Sri Lanka continue the suffering. Come on. Don't you think as a politician, you owe it to those people out there. You owe it to them. You owe them an explanation.
Most certainly.
You must fight to let the people of Katua Piti, how on earth are you going to go and walk around again there, which I know you want to and which you do and which you have, and I'm sure you won't stop, but how can you look them in the eye when they look at you as a politician, everybody else in Parliament are politicians too, when somebody somewhere is lying. They're lying to the people who voted them in.
That's why, Faraz, I have been fighting for the justice of our Catholic people, right? We have been always saying that please prosecute the people who are behind it, who have neglected their duties. Both.
Don't you agree with me, Dr. Kavinda, don't you agree with me that the very fact that this government have come in and with all this growing authoritarianism and accumulation of power, and we don't really care, we're going to go through the forest, we're going to go through this, that and the other, go through every deal going, isn't that all a direct result of the fact that the government that you were part of then were all divided?
So now we are not in power, you know.
No,
all the faults.
Yeah.
What happened with the Yahapalana government, right?
You're now reaping what's happening today.
That failure had led to this. UMP split, UMP lost, we started a new political party, we have a new leader, we started everything refresh, right? So we are not living in the past. We want to go forward.
So what you're saying is
we have as opposition, as SJB, we have got a good set of politicians who want to work hard for our country.
Do you remember the bond scam?
Yes.
Right. Do you remember how much everybody defended it? There was, Mr. Wickramasinghe was very fond of saying, there is no evidence, he said. Yeah, right. He knew about it. Anyway, leave him alone. Would you agree that if there was one single item to hang the demise of that party, it had to be with the greatest cover-up on the bond scam?
You know about
Do you agree?
No, about bond scam, right? There have been so many issues
Yes, but
about
do you
it,
agree?
about it, right? And people like us, we have been saying, investigate, prosecute, and move on.
Well, they've started now.
Yeah, they
started
should.
now.
They should.
But my question is
My answer to that
Yeah.
is that
That's
regardless
my
whether it's bond scam, whether it's Easter bomb attack, whether it's any corruption, whether it's the current government stealing our
Yes, but-
taxpayers
yes.
10 billion rupees from
But the fact that they are the SJB today-
bringing sugar into the country,
Yes, but-
it doesn't matter.
But the fact-
Please
yeah.
prosecute those people and
But the
serve
fact
justice for the people of this
fact that
country.
you now have an SJB has got nothing to do with MS.
Nothing.
Right? It has all to do with RW.
No, we have left UMP.
Yes, but it was all
we
because
have
of
formed
that.
a new party.
Yeah.
Now we have a new leader. We have a set of good politicians who want to really do something for the country.
Can I ask you this?
Yes, please.
Do you think that Mr. Saxena, do you think he was involved in the bond scam?
I don't know. I wasn't one of the people who investigated.
No, I know,
it.
but you can have a thought process.
I mean, I can't accuse anyone.
Right. Do you have any evidence at all?
I have no evidence because I don't know about it.
Right.
Right? But if I had any idea, I would say openly.
There was no telephone calls between Mr. Sirisena and Mr. Loshes.
I don't know.
Well,
Whatever
it didn't come
I-
out in the
what-
commission report.
He was the president back then.
Yeah.
You know, already he's
But-
refusing
but
the
to his- but to-
current
but to his
current
credit-
presidential
but to his
commission.
To his credit, he ran along to the central bank to make sure that Mahendran weren't going to stay there any longer.
Yeah.
And he was almost followed, poodle-like, by Ranil Wickramasinghe.
Faraz, he would have done so many good things.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't mean that those good things can cover up the bad what he did. Right? Okay, so he was the president of this country when this Easter bomb attack happened. My concern is that prosecute people who were behind it, who supported it, plus people who neglected their duties.
Do you know, if you want to get the full benefit ecclesiastically of what you are doing at Madhu, which is commendable, you really need to somebody's telling me you need to start telling fact and not fiction.
Yeah, so I'm telling you facts, right? There's none of those things are frictions, right?
At the risk of sounding like your dad, right? You know what they used to tell you when you were little, no? If you tell lies, up there will be unhappy with
So
you.
are you telling me that I lied to you?
The public are not fully in agreement with what you say.
So what did I lie?
They are telling you to be truthful about all the questions that I've asked you so far.
Okay, tell me,
About
Faraz.
the bond.
You can
About-
ask me,
about
you can
the
tell
bond.
me this is what you lied about.
Well, what about the bond scam? I asked you a question.
Yeah.
I asked you whether you think that
Yeah.
the bond scam was, if there was one main item for the
There have been,
demise of
there have
the
been
United National Party.
so many incidents what happened to UMP.
Right.
It's not only
Is the
one.
bond scam one of them?
Bond scam plus so many other incidents happen for UMP to get where it got, right? I'm not here to defend anyone, neither UMP.
Well, Kavinda Jayawardena, Dr. Kavinda Jayawardena, thank you very much. It's lovely to see you on the program
Love
again.
to see you too. Faraz.
And good work at Madhu, but
Thank you.
It's now time for that wonderful program. It's called the Primetime News from News First. Take care, great evening, and God bless you.